Hi, my name's Surid. I'm a pharmacist based in London, UK, and this is my health story. Since I registered, I've been working constantly, locuming here and there. Eventually, that sort of lifestyle, constantly busy, constantly working, I didn't really think about my nutrition, what I was eating. Eventually, that took its toll, and I did without realizing we started to put on weight. My overweight became my new normal, and I didn't think twice about it. But then that caused me to have other symptoms. For example, I had constant headache. Then I'd have to take certain painkillers, things over the counter like paracetamol or cocodamol. Eventually, when I realized actually maybe I was taking too much, I sought the help of my doctor. We did some blood tests. He saw my liver enzymes were high, as well as other key factors. Then we went to do a liver scan, and that was the real turning point for me. I actually saw my liver on the screen. I said, "What's that white shining light?" He said, "Well, that's your fat covering your liver." And for me, that was the point that clicked. He said, "Right, now I've got to change. I've got to do something about my health. I've got to find a solution." Have you heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? I hadn't until then. In the olden days, only alcoholics used to develop it by overconsumption of alcohol, obviously. But nowadays, we're getting all the calories, all the carbohydrates from our food. That's where I got it from. And then as I realized, it's actually one of the first signs and symptoms that we're not well. And if we don't remedy ourselves or reverse it at this stage, we're just going to get worse and worse. So I was told by the doctor, okay, you've got fatty liver disease, you've got to reverse it now. The main thing you've got to try and do is control your nutrition, control your weight. How do you do that? So at the time I found a solution, which I tried. So in those days, I looked for something which was popular and around and known and was helping people. Particularly my mother was doing it. They were the meal replacement sachets, the very low carbohydrate, high protein meal replacement sachets, which we would take 4 times a day without eating any food, completely replacing our meals. And that worked. I did it for about 3 months at the time. I went down to about 90 kilos. I thought, wow, that's amazing, that's sustainable, I feel amazing, I'm sure my fatty liver's been reversed now. And I stopped because my willpower ran out. I felt good, I felt well, but then the next stage is, without realizing, because my habits hadn't changed, my hunger was still there. Within about 6 to 12 months, all that weight had come back. Then, unknowingly, I became a victim of the roller coaster. Up, down, up, down. Over the next 10 years, I kept on trying the sachets for a few months, getting results, but less effective results, stopping, being depressed, not working, going back out of the cycle, and then going back into the cycle. So I kept on going up and down, up and down, up and down, until eventually I gave up on the sachets, and my weight was still just creeping up. My second aha moment, this time it's my knee. Now it's 15 years later. I was kneeling on the floor. I had this constant pain. It wouldn't go with painkillers, rubbing, pain relief, etc. I tried some physiotherapy. Eventually my doctor said, let's go and do an x-ray scan. And that came up with osteoarthritis. So basically that potentially was the beginning of a journey towards rheumatoid arthritis, where the material in the joint was eroding, and then the tendons between the joints were meeting each other. So whenever I flexed, I'd feel pain. Predominantly caused by my excessive weight over the last 10 or 15 years. The only advice he gave me, the same thing as before: lose weight and exercise more. Okay, now I had to find another solution. So I went back to what I knew. I went back to those sachets, the meal replacement sachets. This time within a week, it was a very, very different experience. It was killing my gut. Sorry to say this, but I was constantly in and out of the toilet. I just couldn't get out. I'd had to go to the doctor. I'd had to go and check what was wrong with me. We did blood tests. Luckily, it wasn't something serious, more serious than it could have been. But basically, the doctor said, what are you doing? What are you eating? Now it's time to change and find something else. Stop whatever you're doing. Although you're losing weight, it's killing your gut. And for me, this is how I changed my life, how I found the solution. 3 or 6 months before that, I'd been a bit more on social media, been watching people showing solutions to their health. And I didn't understand it. They had things like this, They were showing these sachets in a way to say, okay, if you take these, you're going to get healthy, you're going to lose weight. I didn't believe it. I was so skeptical. Eventually, I kept on watching, I kept on absorbing, I kept on seeing the stories of other people all around the world changing their health, putting their diabetes into remission, coming off blood pressure medication, relieving inflammation, PCOS, various other symptoms. I thought, okay, wow, what have I got to lose? Will I stay the same? Will it relieve my gut issues? Will my gut get worse? Will it change my eating habits? Will I keep on binging? What have I got to lose? Shall I invest? They said they give a money back guarantee. Let's go for it. So during that time, as I said, I was scrolling social media and I found people using the protocol, using the system or content showing their results, and eventually I started to correlate. I sought further, I looked into their lives, I'd see them doing lives every day, I'd ask questions, I'd engage with them. Eventually I came to a live where, so I've seen the proof, I was seeing the evidence of it changing lives around the world. I didn't understand how it worked. Eventually I correlated, I got onto a few lives, and some of the lives they were explaining the science and the validation and the clinical trials behind the protocol and the mechanism of action of how it worked on our gut health, on our liver health, on our hunger, etc. And how when those are balanced, all of our other symptoms can disappear. It's changing people's lives through their health. Testimonials, check. Valid science, metabolic science behind it, check. Clinical trials from the best universities in the world, check. Affordability, just £5 a day, check. 90-day money back guarantee from the company, check. So I ordered the sachets. I decided to start them after my summer holiday that year, so I started them in July 23. It was very simple. I was excited. I take the tea in the morning, nice lemon tea, take it to lunchtime. Come lunch, I'll have the balance before lunch and I'll have another balance before dinner. It was as simple as that. And I couldn't believe the effect it had on my health. I couldn't believe within 1 week, my IBS had totally resolved and I'd gone back to a similar pattern to when I was a lot younger. I could not believe I never felt so good. Within about a week, another week or so, my hunger started to be suppressed. I could mitigate through, my brain fog disappeared. Oh, I forgot to tell you. While I was on taking the other regimen, I was taking, because of my brain fog, I had to drink coffee 10 times a day. I couldn't manage without it. In the morning, every 2 hours, I'd get the high and I'd crash. I'd get the high and I'd crash just to relieve my headaches. Within a week, no more coffee. I never needed it thanks to the Unimate. And the balance resolved my IBS. I couldn't believe what this was doing to my health. So I kept on taking it over that summer. Within about a month, I started, I was going to have lunch at lunchtime. I thought, why am I having lunch? I'm not hungry. Scrap the lunch. Within a month, my hunger was so much controlled, I managed to go down to 1 meal a day. And my natural meal was a lot healthier than before. I was cooking, I was eating natural food, salad, etc., what I needed. I'd come off the cravings, I'd come off the things which were destroying my health. And I continued for that 3-month period, and as you see, this photo is me in September. And since then I've been free of my cravings, I've been free of my hunger. I've managed to just live my life and continue in a healthy way forward. And the best thing about it is, because I found my health, because I found my freedom, I cannot almost stop but tell people about it and advise people there is a solution. So now I'm about 18 months down the journey. My food cravings have gone, my hunger's completely under control. My food habits are normalized, are much healthier than before. My weight stabilized. Even if it goes up a few pounds, it will come down later. And on the journey, I found out and researched the benefits of fasting. So I can very easily switch it on. I can easily fast 2 or 3, 4, 5 days every so often just to give myself a deep cleanse, no problem. I've got my body into fat burning, into ketosis, and the body loves it. But the best thing about this journey is when it's changing your life and you realize the impact you can have on the world, it's a sin not to tell people about it. So that's my mission now, to tell people there is a path to freedom through your health.